everybody wants to come and live in Ghana, right? And since the year of return and even beyond the return, a lot of people who live in the diaspora want to come and relocate to Ghana, especially people from Jamaica, India, China, Brazil, Ghanaians who live in Canada, US, UK, etc. Today, we have a very exciting video because on the team today, we have people who have lived in Ghana, have moved out of Ghana, are back in Ghana. And then we also have people who live in Ghana, like myself, have lived here all our lives. And we want to look at the question of the day. Is it worth it living in Ghana? Especially if you are like a middle income person, is it worth it living in Ghana? Also on this video, we have people on the live interactive section. If you want to join the live, the link is in the YouTube. If you are in our WhatsApp community, click the link and then you'll be able to join. But first of all, we want to see some of the trending videos of the day. So let's go straight into the first trending video of the day. This video shows two, like what will you describe this? Skyscrapers, right? And then in between the skyscrapers, you have a connecting bridge, which is a swimming pool. Charlie, this is crazy. And someone says, this is what happens when a generation is raised with Netflix instead of Final Destination. Because when we were growing up, Final Destination was a movie that shows all the possible ways that disaster can happen and you can die. Right? But it looks like people have forgotten all that. And this is a glass swimming pool at the top of two skyscrapers, which are like 70 floors up. Would you swim in a swimming pool like that, Patrick? You're not on camera. Would you swim on something like that?
No, for me, no, I wasn't brought up that way, so
You're not brought up that way.
no, no. As somebody would say, my house had, so Charlie.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. Now, it's very interesting because the next trending video, right, is of an earthquake that happened in Thailand. And my goodness, watching this particular video on your screens, you will think it's a waterfall, but it is not a waterfall. This is like water coming out of another skyscraper, which is over 60 floors high. And again, it's showing different angles from the street view, from the people who are on the skyscraper, from the people who are even in the swimming pool. And it's it makes me wonder, when people are getting money, they want more fancy things like infinity pools, especially when someone buys some nice beachfront apartment. They want some infinity pool. Just yesterday and today, I was at Pram Pram, right? And I was talking to some rich men, and they were saying, oh, they would want some infinity pool so that from there it gives you kind of like a view that, oh, you are connecting directly to the sea. And I'm wondering that if you are looking at this video where the water is falling off the rooftop and you are in that infinity pool and you are falling off, it's going to be scary. What do you think, Patrick?
I mean, for me, I say, like, what I tell people, if you live until 90 and there's no excitement in your life, then it's about the journey. Let's just enjoy the journey. Yeah.
Oh, so for you, it's about the journey. You should enjoy life.
Yeah, let's enjoy.
Hey. Yeah. Wow, interesting. All right, so let's look at the next trending video, which again is a different angle of the same earthquake. Again, when I see some of these things, what really concerns me is, as a country, are we ready for earthquakes?
Yeah, no, we are not. We are not ready for this kind of like disasters. And I think it's because in the past we have not had such like earthquakes or like natural disasters happen to us, and so we are not prepared. Yeah.
Wow. But you see, another reason why I ask this question is people say we are not using our land profitably in Ghana. Right? For example, everybody wants to live in Accra.
Yeah.
Accra is hugely densely populated. And everybody wants to live here. But the kind of houses that we are building is not making good use of the land in Accra. So ideally, places like Nima and stuff, we should be able to break it down and build skyscrapers. Right. What do you think about that?
I kind of disagree with that thought.
Okay,
The
but
reason is
talk a bit
because,
louder for us.
okay, so the reason is because I think it's more expensive to build up than to build like wide, you know. So it makes sense for us as a developing country to build as we are building.
Okay.
We should keep on expanding as we're expanding. And once we get to a certain point where the need itself would make us move in a different direction. There was no city that was built by them starting to build upwards. And so personally, I think that we're on the right track. There's no need to.
Okay, so at this point, I want to go to the people on the live interactive session and then hear from them. So on the live, we have Mittens, and then we have Robert Nubuke. Robert, do you have any thoughts on the topic so far? You could unmute and then share your thoughts. Is Ghana ready for an earthquake? Should we be building skyscrapers to make better use of the land, or should we keep building the way we are building? And again, would you want to do an infinity pool? So Robert, you can unmute your mic now and share. So whilst we are trying to get Robert, hi Robert, if you can hear us, you can unmute your mic now and share your thoughts. Okay, so whilst we are trying to get Robert, we can read some of the comments on the YouTube live. So on the YouTube live, we have Kobe Kente saying, hi guys, so when was the last major earthquake in Ghana? And is it on a fault line? I need to research it myself. Interesting. So he says, when was the last? Do you know?
No, I don't remember. I know there's a fault line in Ghana from the Wager side.
Yes, Wager. And it usually goes through the mountainous areas, right? The hilly areas. So Tantra, Kwabenya, Ebri, all those places. That is what we know. But the last major earthquake. Yes, Kwabenya. don't laugh. All right, so let's move to the other trending video of the week. That trending video was a scene from ANC Mall where it rained just this week, and after it rained, there was disaster at the car park, right? And there were solar panel carports that collapsed, damaged Mercedes, C-Class, E-Class, different classes of cars. Now, fortunately, the mall authorities decided to take the cost of damages and repairs, right? But what do you think? What are your thoughts? Are we building, like, small rain? This is not an earthquake. This is small rain and people's cars were damaged. What are some of the lessons that we can learn from this?
Yeah, I think that for Ghana, we have been fortunate that we have not had any like serious major disasters happen to us. And so because of that, we seem to be very like lenient and we do not take a lot of things serious, you know. So I think that today with global warming and with all the different things that are happening across the world, it would be nice to like start adding some of these things into our planning, you know. Like it's good that today somebody is saying they will take the cost, but if they were not, I don't think most of these places even have insurance, for example.
You know? Really important. The insurance thing you are talking about is very important because even for most of us drivers, right? Because, and that's again going to lead into the main topic of the day. What should people even want to relocate to Ghana? Ghana is so expensive that most people, instead of doing comprehensive, will probably do third party.
Exactly.
And so in this instance where your car was damaged, you don't get anything. Right. So for me, I feel that any kind of thing that you are doing, try and insure it. Property insurance. We don't do it in Ghana. Nobody does. If you are on the live and you've done insurance for your property, comment and let us know. Now the comments on the YouTube live keep coming in hot. So Sandy AI says, please, sir, Ghana should be building roads. I agree with you 1,000% because where I live today and when Patrick was coming over, I mean, what was your experience? It was terrible. Terrible. And I was asking Patrick that, so where you are coming from, right, outside Ghana, do you have some of these roads? Would you have a community, the most deplorable community, having a road which is full of rocks, barely motorable? Will you have those kind of experiences?
Well, I mean, I don't know because I have not been to everywhere, but at least where I live and what I have seen, before a place would be permitted for buildings to come up, there would be basic amenities that go into this neighborhoods, and so I don't think it will happen. Even though I haven't been to everywhere, so I'm not able to like conclusively say that everybody is living in a place where the roads are more trouble. But obviously what you are seeing here, like I was telling you, that thing was not a road, Charlie.
Yeah, it's not. But you made a very interesting point when you were coming, right? That I asked you, Canada has like maybe 70% of the land mass uninhabited,
Yeah.
right? And you made a very interesting point. Can you go over that?
Yeah, so the point I was making was that today when it comes to Canada, one of the things we complain about is the red tape. Like, there's a lot of bureaucracy around building, and so, like the way here in Ghana, you can buy your own piece of land and you can just start building maybe like a month later. There, the process is much more complex.
Okay.
The things you need to do to make sure that you start your building, and so people do not build. We leave the building for the developers to do, and then we kind of buy from them directly. And I think some of the reasons why they do that is because before we allow you to put up a building, we have to make sure that there's water coming to the place. There's gas coming to the place.
Like, so you must have water, you must have gas.
Yes.
Okay.
Where the sewage will go, there must be some like consideration for that. There must be like roads, like basic things must be available. Like what's the nearest police station? If you call 911, what happens? Are we able to keep for example, if you say if you call 911, we respond in 5 minutes. Are we able to respond in 5 minutes from where you say you want to go and live? So all those things kind of factor in before you are allowed to put up a building. And so if you apply for a permit to put up a certain structure, it will take a few months for this permit to be approved, and it will go through different like EPA and whatever.
Okay.
And so it's a bit much more complex, but
okay.
I believe that is what makes the place what we all
desire.
Exactly. Yeah. So I believe
I get your point.
Yeah.
You see, in Ghana, you would find virgin land, you find a bushy forest land. You say, I want to buy maybe 4 plots. You go and buy the land. You probably need to get your own road access out to the land.
Yeah.
Then you would need to get your own electric pole. You need to get your own maybe borehole.
Yeah.
The reverse.
So you have your own local government.
Yes, yeah. True, you are your own local government. And everybody building must bring their own electricity, bring their own water, create their own roads and stuff. But you are saying that outside Ghana, those things must be in place
it must be
before you can build.
Yeah, it must be in place. Wow. We would say that this is a residential area. You are not allowed to put up your own provision store.
Patrick, they say please speak louder.
Oh, I should speak louder.
Yeah. Okay. They're enjoying what you're saying. So
okay, so I'm saying like there's land use. Like they take it very seriously. You cannot just say I'm putting up. Like I remember in my neighborhood where I live, one developer wanted to put up a certain structure, and they say no, we are not allowing you to put like for duplexes here because the way we are designing this town, we are only building say bungalows, for example.
Okay.
So you can't just say today I've seen this nice design, I want to go and put up a multiple story building, whatever. So like they are that meticulous, and so that kind of makes the place proper, because when you are building a place, you want to make sure that how many people will be living in this house, and based on the number of people who are living in the house, what will happen to the traffic situation outside. We need to build a larger road, like all those things factor into why you would permit something to be done or not to be done. And so in the end result is that you get a place where it's more properly thought through.
Okay.
Like wherever you live, eventually it's a place that's well planned. As against here where like it's free for all, whoever is able to build the fastest or whoever is able to build first, go to live in there. Yeah.
Okay. So guys, please confirm if the audio is better now. Can you hear Patrick better now? Kindly confirm that for me. And again, comment where you are watching this video from, whether you're watching from Ghana, US, Canada. Even if it's in the US or Canada or Belgium, wherever, mention the city, the town as well. We want to know where our audience is coming from. Now, we're going to read some of the comments coming from the YouTube. So, Mapi says, Ghana is not ready for an earthquake. Sandy AI says, infrastructure, power grid, exclamation marks. Mapi says, we can't even care flooding issues. Sweet Bad says, Ghana should be building a better sewage system. Interesting. Sand AI says, sorry, Ghana needs a better port, more transparency, real drivers. Sandy AI says, ECG, exclamation mark, have mercy. Oh, so people are complaining about the things that they've experienced in moving to Ghana. I want all of you to share it, right? Share what your experience has been moving to Ghana, relocating to Ghana, so that we all learn, right? And then we want to know the positives and the negatives. not just the negatives, because Ghana still has a lot of good things. And Patrick, I'll come to you to tell us what you think are some of the positives. Why should somebody want to move to Ghana? Now, Michael Jimano says, okay, please tell Patrick to speak up. That's fine. Okay, so they say they can hear you now. Fantastic. Gaza Alien says he's watching from London. Kobe Kente says he's watching from the US. It is regulated by states. Some of them are more regulated than others. In Texas, zoning laws are messed up. Okay, P says I'm watching from the Republic of Kaswa. Richard says it's better now. Fantastic. Gaza Alien says I'm coming home soon. They don't know nothing about Ghana. London is done. Really interesting. Very interesting thoughts. So, Patrick, in your honest opinion, what are some of the positives? Why would somebody want to come and live in Ghana? What are some of the reasons why somebody would want to come and live in Ghana?
So I can speak from my own perspective.
Yeah.
I've lived here all my life.
Okay.
Most of my friends are here. Most of my family lives here. And so when I'm here, I'm at home.
Yeah.
You know, if I go to live in someone's land, in as much as they have the economics figured out, I believe that there's still some kind of void that cannot be filled.
Okay.
You know, I didn't go up with a pop culture. If I go to an event with my co-workers and we are having small talk, like whatever they're discussing, whatever interests them does not interest me. I love what they call soccer or what we call football. Right?
Okay.
They don't care about soccer or football. All they care about is their hockey and cricket and all those things, which I have no interest in. And so the life, in as much as the economics is figured out, it's not very, it's not pleasant.
So for you, being like a first generation person, there's a lot of learnings that you need to do.
Exactly.
And the culture, the realities over there are different from what you grew up on, right? So for you, you are old. Let me just put it in quotes. You are old. You're not that old, but let's say you grew up maybe 30s in Ghana, and you feel you are too old to start learning all these things, pop culture and all these things. I get you. It's an interesting point, but how would you see it for the next generation? Would it be a better choice? Because one thing I hear a lot of Ghanaians say is that my parents didn't give me a good life, but I want to give a better life to my kids. And so even if I am going, I don't have a master's, I don't have a good job, I can go and work in a restaurant, I can go and work in a factory, and at the end of the day, I'll be able to make enough money to ensure that my kids will have a better life than I did. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think your kids will definitely have a better life. Their education is better than our VSHS, yellow track, red track, whatever system, whatever madness is going on in our educational system today, right? But I believe, like I can use my kids as an example. They even though today they are kind of have an identity crisis where they are Ghanaians, right? Because they are black, they eat our local food because that's what I eat, you know, and everything. And yet, if they come to Ghana, they don't speak the local language. People will see them as foreigners.
Okay.
When they are there also, they see them as foreigners because they are black. They are not them. And so the kids, you find like other kids making, not necessarily like trying to be mean or anything, but you find kids making fun of their hair, you know, the texture of their hair and why their hair is short and stuff like that. And then they come home and then they'll be asking questions. And so I think it's difficult. You know, it's difficult because they don't have a system around them that would that they can rely upon. Today it's just their parents. If maybe they had other siblings, cousins, you know, aunties and aunts, if they had like a larger family or people around them, maybe it would be better. But today, for my kids, I think it's still going to be difficult. They would face that identity crisis. I don't have that identity crisis because I'm Ghanaian, right? I grew up here. When I come here, I'm at home. But they don't have a home per se, you know. So that is something that I think, yes, they will have the financial part, their career, everything. They'll have it figured out because there is more, like we have been discussing, that their country is more well planned. You know, they have like a plan for everyone, and so it's slightly easier for them. But otherwise, everything else is a little bit up in the air.
Very, very solid points. So for you, that would be one reason why somebody would want to relocate. Very interesting points. Let's pick some of the comments from the YouTube live. So people are telling us where they are watching from. Someone says they're watching from the UK. Emmanuel I says I'm watching from the UK. Sweetbad watching from the UK. Sandy AI says $500,000 to live next to a rubbish pile. Overpriced lands, building materials, police asking for small in quotes, government bribery, etc. And then he says he's watching from the USA. Gaza Alien says, I see more of my melanin people, and it makes me feel at home. So that's why they would want to relocate, right? And then Sandy AI says, I live in Oyarefa, but visiting the US. Okay. Kobe Kente says, why? Because some of us are fed up living here. For some of us, it is not easy to make the transition. Really interesting comments. Like, keep the comments coming. And again, if you are enjoying the video, please like, share, and subscribe so it reaches more people. Can we get at least 100 likes in the next few minutes? That will tell YouTube that this video is really good and it's worth sharing to as many people as possible.
I have a comment from retirement, but maybe for now, no.
Retirement. Okay. Okay, so someone is saying that for them, they would want to come back to Ghana for when they are retired, right? Because they would want to come home and probably.
I think for the most part, when people want to relocate, the primary thing they are thinking about is the financial part. You know, they don't have a job. They want a place where they can be stable income, where they can make money, where they can achieve their dreams, whatever. You know, but I think once the financial part becomes figured out, you realize that there's a lot more that is missing.
Okay.
You know, like I mentioned about family, I mentioned about like you not being able to enjoy the life because the people there are used to things that you don't necessarily care about, and they also don't care about things you care about, stuff like that. For me, I want to spend time with my parents as they are getting old. I want to be able to see them now than I'll be somewhere they will tell me something has happened and I have to rush down, you know. So I think those are things, like as I'm there, people are getting married, my friends are getting married, they are having children, doing all those things. And I cannot be part of it because I'm far away, like hustling, you know. So I think those are considerations that we do not necessarily think about when we want to make them move. When we want to make them move, we are thinking about not being able to afford our bills and going somewhere that will make us be able to get a place to sleep, you know, be able to afford your meal, whatever, you know. So I think that once when we always have this conversation, those are things that are left out. We only concentrate on the financial part.
Okay, so apart from the financial part, right, there's also cost of living, right? Let's talk about cost of living right now. You have been in Ghana for like some days or weeks now. Right? When you left and you've gone to experience a different system, you are back in Ghana. How do you think the cost of living has changed? Has it improved? Has it become worse? And then comparing it with the reality elsewhere, right? For some of us, we live in Ghana, so we've kind of like adjusted, we've adapted. Ghanaians are doing magic.
Yeah.
People earn 2,000 cedis. Transportation is maybe 1,000, 1,500. Food is 1,000 cedis. Electricity is 200 cedis. Water and all those things. But they still manage to survive on 2,000 cedi salary. So cost of living for you, what does that mean?
I think that cost of living in Ghana, I don't know if there's any, like it's just it's just crazy, you know. Like because when I think about it, like last time I was telling you, a 5 kg bag of rice, where I am, cost $14.
Okay.
Right. The minimum wage, the person who does like a job that doesn't require any kind of certification, degree, training, nothing, earns $18 an hour.
$18 an hour.
Which means that for this person, if they work for an hour, they'll be able to afford this 5 kg of rice.
So if I work for an hour, I can afford a 5 kg rice, which can last me like a month.
For example, yes.
Okay, interesting.
Now, if you come to Ghana, this same 5 kg of rice, I don't know how much it costs, maybe like 500 Ghana.
Maybe 700 to 1,000. If anyone is working in Ghana, right, Mapi, I expect you to come in for us here from the Republic of Kaswa. If you are watching, how much is a 5 kg bag of rice in Ghana? So Patrick, continue.
But I mean, whatever the price is, I think that it will be as much as what the minimum wage person earns in a month.
Okay.
Which means that this person, after working for the entire month, can only be able to afford this 5 kg of rice. This is excluding whatever transportation they took, whatever water they had to drink or food they had to eat within the month, whatever, you know. So I think that it doesn't make sense. There is no reason why a 5 kg bag of rice should cost as much in Ghana as it costs say in Canada or in North America or wherever, you know, when we do not earn the same salaries. You know, when I complain about how much Uber costs, people say, oh, but Uber too is expensive in Canada, right? But if I'm paying $6 for maybe a 5-minute drive in Canada, I do not expect that I should be paying something close to $6 if I take the same, like, for the same kind of distance here, I should take the same, I should be paying the same amount, because we do not earn the same amount, right? The amount of money I earn, I would earn and be paying $6. $6 is peanuts, you understand? Like for someone who is living there. But $6 here is a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean $6. If I go to work, so $6 for those who don't know will probably be like
Maybe
90 cedis.
Like maybe for a Canadian dollar.
Okay, yeah, even 60 cedis, right? If I'm eating wache and gobe, it can feed me for 3 days, right? So it's significant for me, right? And for the person who is like a first degree earner, who is going to the office, who is earning the 2,000 cedis, it's very significant.
Like
right.
it's a huge.
They can't afford Uber to work.
Exactly, yeah. You know, but even though, yes, I mean, if you are also doing minimum wage in, say, North America, you can also not be affording Uber to go from your house to the office all the time. But the point is that, but the point is that it is much more, the economics makes more sense there than here.
Okay.
Here, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
It makes no sense why I should buy like one tangerine for 10 cedis. It makes no sense. Like, makes no sense. I've been living there for now 5 years now.
Okay.
The cost of bananas have not increased in the 5 years I've been there. We used to buy them for 56 cents a pound. Today, it's still 56 cents a pound.
Wow.
I don't think bananas have been the same price if you take maybe the last 3 months in Ghana.
Paul, so at this point, it's a good point to talk about if you want to join this live and share your thoughts. The link is in the YouTube video chat description. And then the link is also in the WhatsApp community. So just click on any of them. We'll accept you. We want to hear from you. What has your experience been when it comes to cost of living, opportunities, infrastructure, culture, and all that, right? Education, security, and all that. Now, I don't want us to ignore the thousands of people who are on the YouTube live commenting. So let me read some of them. Sweetbart says, I'm tired of being a minority. So for him or her, this is the reason why they want to come back to Ghana.
But you see, for this person, it means that now they have the economics figured out. Because, I mean, if you're not able to feed your family or you're not able to afford 1 square meal a day, you'll not be thinking about whether or not you're
minority or not. Really? Okay. All right. So let's continue the comments. We have Sandy AI says, really, why is it so expensive? It's sad when Ghanaians cannot afford a small lift. And then the Thought Essence Pass says, thank you for this. I dialed in from the belly of the beast, USA, Pennsylvania. Interesting. Gaza Alien says, after all of that, you also waste for retirement money to get put into a home or maybe homeless. That's the UK government. So somebody is saying for them, the reason why they would want to come to Ghana and probably come and retire here is they don't want to go and be put in those homes, right? Wabo brought too much to say, let's go and put me in a foster care or a home or wherever.
No, I mean,
they want to be close to family.
Yeah, but let's be honest. We are not saying that everything that is in the US or in the Western world is good. That's not what we are saying.
Okay.
I mean, people who are going there today are not going there because like where I live is extremely cold. I always complain about the cold. The people who are born there say you never get used to the cold. You know, so I don't think that it's a nice place to live. It's just because of whatever issues we have here, which gets to the point where you want to live and make a better life for yourself. Because otherwise, you will be caught in this, like in this cycle where you never are able to escape it. You know, and so most of us, the reason we leave is financial.
Okay.
We do not live because there's no better life there. I was telling you, the oranges there are not as nice as they are here. The mangoes there are not as nice. Like food in general is bland for me, who is coming from West Africa.
Okay.
So I don't think that the reason is because we no. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me continue to read the comments coming in. Someone says, this is truly the beast in Florida. Blueprint says, not if they are charging expat prices and the locals can't live due to this.
Oh, yeah.
That is really true.
Yeah.
You guys who go and live in the diaspora, because you have a lot of money, you are paid dollars, pounds, euros. You convert it $1, 16 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
So if you have, let's say even $10,000, to you it's something you can work maybe a year, a month, or 2 or 3 and get. To us, $10,000 is 160,000 cedis. The person who is earning 2,000 cedis needs to
A few
save for
years,
how many
yeah.
months?
A few years.
80 months to get that.
Yeah.
Right. And so we are not close when it comes to the financial. We are down here, you guys are up here.
Yeah.
And so when you come with a lot of disposable income and you buy things at the price at which they are quoted, you are making life difficult for us who live here.
Yeah, but I mean, but that is true not only for us, but also true for you people who go to live in Kaswa. Because before, land sold in Kaswa would have been sold for pennies. But
Okay.
today, because people are moving from East Legon and everywhere and going to live in Kaswa, take what's it called? East Legon Hills, for example. The land there used to be sold for cheap. Today,
Yeah.
it's expensive because people who have money have moved there. So I think it happens everywhere. Maybe you're only looking at it from people moving from the West and coming here with their
No,
money.
you see, the reason why I have
It's
an issue with the
thing.
people moving from the West and coming here, it's like you are here for a short period. You come and buy land, expensive prices. You build nice houses, expensive houses, right? 7-bedroom houses, 20-bedroom houses. And then you increase the value of the area. And because of the house you have come to build,
But the same thing you also did.
which you don't live in. Me, if I go and buy the land at Kaswa and I build, I'm living here. But you have gone back to the US, the UK, the Canada, and you are making us who are here to suffer.
I mean, development will always come at a cost, right? There is no going around it. You were like earlier, you were mentioning that we should go and break all the houses in what's it called? Nima and build skyscrapers. What do you think will happen to the value of land in Nima if we do that?
No, already Nima land is very expensive. Already Nima land is prime land. But I mean, I feel we are not utilizing the land properly.
That's fine. But I mean, today we are talking about land, but let's also like concede that it is not only the land that's become expensive, but also things like food. Because I'm not sure today food is very expensive in Nima. Right. But if you go and build your skyscrapers, obviously food is going to become expensive.
Okay.
You know, so I think that happens everywhere.
Okay.
Maybe it is more prevalent because you are living in this moment and you see it for people who are coming from the West here. But I think it will always happen. As long as there's development, there's going to be money thrown at it, and so things are going to go up. That is something that we cannot escape.
Okay. All right. So I see Kobe has joined live. Hi, Kobe. You want to contribute to the topic?
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
I guess you wanted to know how much the cost of living here is, right? But you know, the cost of living in America is different too, depending on your circumstances, right? Oh, okay, can you hear me? Okay, I believe that the cost of living is also high in America, right? And I made a point is the more you make, the more you spend. And I think somebody alluded to the fact that it depends on. Yes, so I'm continuing, right? If you come to the US, right? I know most of us we come from Ghana and then we come to the US and we start from a bottom line. And when you start from the bottom line and you're able to go to school and you're able to achieve something, right? And you make more money, you start having kids. And then you decide that maybe I want to move away from maybe the hood that you were living in, right? And move somewhere where you can give um your children um a better opportunity, better schools, right? And that comes with buying a house, making sure that you have a nicer car, right? These are all part of what you call the American quote unquote dream, right? That we all sometimes fall into. But I believe it's a trap because then you just go in a circle, right? Where you have a high mortgage, or sometimes you have a nicer car. Your kids are going to private schools, and that alone, puts you in a different stratosphere, right? So there are classes. I believe even with us that immigrates to the U.S. who are Ghanaians, there are classes, and I think America's system is built that the more you make, the more you spend.
All right. Thank you so much, Kobe, for your thoughts. You can still remain on the chat from time to time. We'll be, calling you to chip in here and there. Again, if you want to join the live interactive session, just use the link in the chat and then join and then share your thoughts. I'll continue to read some of the comments, then we come back to the discussion. So someone says, anyone coming from the UK to Ghana, living crisis wouldn't be a problem for them. I see. Okay, so I hear you. The thought essence part says, yes, I've been spotted there also. So I think they are talking about the US stuff. Abdul Election says, before moving to Ghana, you have to make sure you have a source of income. Otherwise, you find yourself in hardship. Relocating to Ghana is better for retirees. Kobe Kente again says, in the US, the system is set up in a way that the more you make, the more you spend. The house with the white picket fence, nicer car, vacations, etc. Okay, I see. Afnocrat says, spot on with the assessment. So he's referring to Patrick. He says, there's no value for money when you look at the cost of living abroad and Ghana. Everything seems overpriced. Abdul again says, you sound very low. Okay, we've addressed that. Richard says, there's no price regulation in Ghana. Chasing Utopia says, at Kobe Kente, that's not true. It's entirely on the individuals who are willing to spend as they make. I net 12K a month. I choose to be in a 5K property and then 2K property. System had nothing to do with it. Interesting. Richard says, people simply do what they like. Gaza Alien says, it's only the pound. Chasing Ethiopia says, the guest is correct in his assertions. Sweet Bad says, I was born in Ghana and lived in the UK all my life. I long to be in my motherland and reconnect with my roots. Yes, I'm financially stable. So for her, it's all about reconnecting with her roots, him or her, right? IND2ND says, I'm going back simply for the food and I'm not going to wait till old age to enjoy the rest of my life. Inshallah, food is only expensive in the capital. Interesting. Gaza says £1 is 19 Ghana cedis. Interesting. IND2ND says, financially, I'll spend less and save. Well, comments keep coming a lot. It says, I'll spend less and save more when I move to Ghana. Is that the case? That you spend less and save more when you move to Ghana?
No, I don't think so. But I mean, like, I can understand why people who are retiring would want to come back and live in Ghana. Because if you look at it, the economics makes sense that way. Someone who is retiring, for example, in Canada, will be earning around, say, $1,200 a month.
Okay.
It is difficult to get by with $1,200 a month in Canada.
Really?
But $1,200.
That's like 12,000 cedis in Ghana.
More or less, right?
Oh, in Ghana, you are rich.
It can do wonders. And so for such a person, it makes sense for them to leave Canada and come and live in Ghana.
Yeah, but the question is, if you leave your Canada and come to Ghana, would you still be able to do the work that is giving you the 1,200?
No, but the person is retired, and
you'll be getting 1,200.
Yeah, exactly.
As pension.
Yeah. As long as you live, it doesn't matter where you live. Maybe you will have to come in once a year or whatever to come and make sure that your status is all right, and you'll be paid that money. So I think that yes, we think they do not. It's not everything, like I was mentioning before. It's not everything that they do that we think is right or we should copy.
Okay.
The way they treat their seniors, with somebody mentioning, put them in senior homes, not taking care of them, because the system is such that everybody is trying to make ends meet.
Okay.
So everybody is working. I don't think, like, the way we care about our elderly and all those people, it's not the same way. The culture is different, and so the way they treat their people is different. And so I would not like to be treated the way they treat their elders. And so I might also, but then at the time I'm making the move from Canada to Ghana, I will not be making the move. I would have had the finances figured out, and so in that case, it makes sense for me to come back, because as we have said, there are a lot of reasons why people will move in either direction. So if you have the finances figured out, there's no point living there.
All right, so let's continue with the comments that are coming, and they keep coming in like a flood. Someone says, partly true, but this needs further discussion. Okay. Someone says, when they hear an accent extortion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Someone says, moving to Ghana while making the same amount from US puts me at top tier. I agree. I can live in cantonments where, even at my salary, I cannot comfortably live in a place equivalent to cantonment here. So this person is living in the US.
Okay.
And he says he's not living comfortably.
Where?
He's not living in a nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
But if he comes to Ghana, he's a big shot.
But what money will he be spending in Ghana?
So that's the question I was
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah.
But
If he has money and he wants to come, yeah, he can come and yeah. But if he's coming, is he coming to Ghana to come and work? What work? You know, because if he's coming to earn CDs, then it's a different conversation we have.
Yeah.
You know, if he's coming to Ghana to come and work in the places that we know and be earning the 2,000 CDs, he will not be living in cantonment.
Okay, you are right. All right, so the comments keep on coming. Chasing Ethiopia says, cost of living is not high in the US because there are government assistance that ensures the less
agree.
privileged can still afford the basic needs.
Yeah.
You want to say something about that?
Yeah, I agree. I think that for like the way we are doing the analysis, I think that mostly for people who are unable to, who the government deem them to be like low income earners, there are a lot of breaks that these people get. There's a lot of assistance, child care benefits, subsidies for daycare and stuff like that, which kind of would cushion them here and there, you know.
Okay.
Unlike in Ghana where there's nothing, it's just you and whatever you make.
Wow. Interesting. So we keep reading the comments. Someone says, we are coming to Ghana because, like many, it's calling home to be part of the solution to saving humanity based in Ghana. It truly is that serious. Everywhere has problems, but the bottom line is Africa is the cradle of humankind. So let's build here like we know that taking care of Earth. So let's build here like we know than taking care of Earth than Mars. Hey, interesting. Okay, maybe talking about all this Elon Musk talk about going to Mars and all. He's saying this is the Earth. The Earth is Africa. Let's sort Africa out and everyone will be fine. Someone says ECG exclamation mark again. Need I say more? I don't mind paying. So this person is saying that Charlie, for him, ECG is a main issue why they will probably don't want to come to Ghana. Because the light out situation and all that. Christiana Pickens says, for me, relocating is making more sense now because after the rat race for so many decades, it gets to a point that you realize that it's not worth it anymore. Peace over everything.
Yeah.
Or peace of mind over everything.
Yeah, but I can assure you that this person has a fat bank account.
A what? A fat bank?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, like we're saying, like it all boils down to the economics. If you have made money, there's no reason to live in the cold and hustle and bustle of, you know, this place is much better for us. You know, this is why I call home. But if I don't have money to feed my family, I cannot still be living here.
Yeah, because there are people in Ghana who are literally in the same rat race that you are talking about.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. So Christiana again says, and we have to keep in mind that the kind of lifestyle during dirty December is totally different from living in Ghana. Then IND2ND says, even though I am a US citizen, I'm not going to wait for Trump to put me on a plane. The conversations are really, really interesting. Kobe, do you have anything else you want to say to everything that has been said? If not, we'll continue with our own panel discussion.
Continue. You know, it's kind of funny. It's let's just say some of us want to come to Ghana, right? And I would say some of us want to come so bad. So we want to come and live. I lived in Ghana for 9 years of my life. I came to the US. I think, Frank, you and I have spoken in the past, if you quite remember. I've been in America since Jimmy Carter, right? And I came to Ghana to go to school. I went to St. Augustine's. I lived in Ghana for 9 years. And things were hard when I came home. And finally, I decided to come back to the US. When I came back to the US, I decided that Ghana, I would never, ever step my foot in Ghana, right? So there you go. You start with the family, you get married, you go to school, you get married, then you visit Ghana once or twice, and then your kids start growing up, and then you start seeing that you're getting older, and then you start figuring it out that, wait a minute, I don't want to go through this. Look at what this whole political arena is in America right now, right? Since from the Carter coming into Reagan, coming into Clinton, Bush, things were not this crazy. Now it's crazy. And you start wondering, do I want to live here when I'm old? And but I have kids. They're not in places where I want them to be before I want to settle down in Ghana. So, you know, some of us strongly want to come there and live, right? But then we have also responsibilities because we've made life over here, you know. And it's not just that easy to say, I'm going home, you know. It's not that easy. So some of them can make the easy transition, but some of us it's not easy. It's not, you know. And thanks to you, Frank. I don't think you understand how much you also helped me in a way, you know, because I saw your you know your YouTube videos, and I just started looking at it, and I said, you know what? I've been trying to build a house in Ghana for the past 10 years, right? And you know, I my brother was doing, my cousin was doing it. After a while, the project just took a whole lot of money, so I decided, you know what? To hell with this, right? I'm here. But when I start seeing your videos, and actually, I got fed up one day, and I did give you a call and say, you know what? I need you to go and look at what I have and look at it and see whether is it possible for me to continue. And once you came back, I said, you know what? This is possible. I can live my life here and prepare myself for retirement, or prepare myself to some sort of quote unquote trying to get to the United, try and settle in Ghana, you know, whilst I monitor the activities of my kids. And I want to say, you know what, Frank, thank you so much, because I'm almost done. And if it wasn't you who actually, you know, if it wasn't you, I probably this project will still be there. So this is something I want to say thank you. You know, help comes in different disguises, right? So I just want to say thank you very much, and a little contribution that I can share here.
Wow, Kobe, thank you so much. It's highly appreciated. I totally forgot about you, but when you started the story, I remember, yeah, I remember that story. And congratulations on almost completing your building project.
Nice.
It's not easy. I can imagine what you've been through, but I mean, amazing, fantastic, well done, and big ups yourself. Like, feel proud of the effort and everything that has gone in. Building is not easy. It's not a joke. I mean, your money goes in, it never comes back.
Never comes.
And I'm glad you didn't give up on it, because you would have become another statistic of uncompleted buildings in Ghana,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Cameras, and unfortunately, I didn't buy it from you, but I bought it before you started promoting yours. So I would have bought it from you. But then I put in cameras. I'm doing my landscape just to match yours, the slab you know, your slab, and you don't understand the kind of service you're providing for some of us here, right? Because it's opened our eyes to the possibilities, you know. So kudos. And when I come to Ghana next time, I plan to see whether.
Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Yeah. Mumbonse. Wow. So if you are loving the work that we are doing, Charlie, give us some applause emojis in the chat, right? Because yeah, I'm glad when I hear some of these things.
Yeah.
It makes us feel good.
Yeah.
That
It's heartwarming.
yeah, it's really heartwarming that the whole effort that we are putting into this and creating content, doing all these things, at least it's touching real lives,
Yeah.
right? We don't just come and sit here and talk. And please, on that opportunity, let me advertise my cameras, right? So he spoke about the security cameras. We have solar-powered security cameras for sale. One is 3,300 Ghana cedis. The email address is on the screen. Send us an email if you want to purchase one and support our business. That's the only way you can support us. So I see the fire emojis coming in and all that. Let's read some of the comments from the YouTube live chat, right? So Zaya or Zaaeaa says, I would love to build a city there. Wow, a whole city in Ghana, amazing. Chasing Ethiopia says, I own a pure water business and working on few other projects. I make $8K a month, remotely available, minus my Ghana investment. So I am doing okay. Nice. Feedback says, regardless of the fat bank account, there are plenty of opportunities to make money in Ghana. And I agree, right? Because before we started the video, I was saying that though Ghana seems to be that bad in the eyes of many, right? Yeah. And so many, especially of the Gen Zs, the younger generation, are all leaving. We have people of other nationalities flocking into Ghana, right? Yeah. We have the Chinese. Like, I keep saying this. I went to Kumasi, and there are entire streets that are all in Chinese. There's no English signboard. The whole signboard is in Chinese. The whole street.
I see.
Yeah, that's how serious it is. Indians are thriving. Melcom has been doing well, expanding, right?
Yeah.
And I went to India last year. There's no Melcom in India,
No.
which means Melcom is a Ghanaian company.
Yeah, it is.
And multiple generations of Indians have made it where it is today. And those Indians today consider themselves as Ghanaians because they have like the third generation in Ghana who were born, or they even speak Tree and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. There are people coming in and doing things. Like even when you look at the building and construction industry, there's an influx of people from Togo, especially, who come in and do POP, tiling, painting, and all these things, right? So there are opportunities. Maybe we are not looking at it that way because it is home to us.
Yeah, I think maybe one thing that we are missing is the money to start a business, right?
Okay.
We are talking about the Indians and the Lebanese and those people. And for the most part, the Chinese, they get a lot of government funding, cheap funds to go out and do business elsewhere.
Yeah.
And so it is easy for a Chinese man who has, say, $100,000 to come here, start a business, and then thrive. So yes, there's money, but it's difficult for us as Ghanaians with no money, doing hand to mouth, to be able to start a new business.
You know the reason why I'm saying this, right? I think you asked a question about the people who want to come and live here. Where would they get the money? So assuming somebody has saved up, let's say, some $50,000, a person could come and start some kind of business here, or $100,000, or $200,000, $400,000. They could come and start a business that will probably do well, right? Even if they leave their well-paying jobs in the US, UK, Canada, etc. So that's why I brought this aspect into it.
That's also like, let me make this controversial point. That there are lots of people like Citizen Kofi, like Cheddar, for example. He says he came with what, I don't know, $50,000, and he was able to build whatever empire he's building now. And so we also have Ghanaian examples, maybe not as many. But yes, it is possible for people who come from abroad with a little bit of funding to be able to like do business. So yeah, I don't think it's just Ghanaians. It's just the foreign nationals that are doing this, but everyone.
Okay. So let's continue to read some of the comments on the YouTube. So we've spoken about the one who owns a pure water business. Sandy AI says the brakes have failed in the US. Ghana is simply a better place to live than the US. Hey, it looks like the people in the US, they have a lot of issues. So then maybe move from the US to Canada, or move from the US to UK. And I don't know why people don't like going to Europe. I thought Europe, Ghanaians, when people sit on the sea, cross the desert, sit on the sea, and go to Italy, right? And when they get there, for them, they made it in life. But it looks like people who have moved to US and stuff, they don't like Europe.
Yeah, because I mean, let's be honest. It's much better to live in the US than in Europe.
Really?
The pay is better, the taxes are lower, the standard of living is better. Like, maybe not standard of living, because you'd say that maybe Europe has better architecture and all those things. But if it comes to money, which is the reason why we all leave Ghana to go elsewhere, the US, in some like industries, they pay like twice what you earn in Europe.
Wow.
And so if you have left because of money, why would you go to the cheaper place?
Okay, so let's read the comments. Chasing Ethiopia says, my wife and I plan to make a partial move to Ghana in July and full relocation by January 2026. Ghana gives us the best option to scale. Sandy AI says, my son is accepted in Ghana. Interesting. Black males are being hunted in the USA. Hey, serious. So Michael Gimano says, I live and work in Germany as a conductor on the German train. Should I go to pension today? My monthly pension salary will be around 1,240 euro, 1,510 euros.
Exactly. Yeah.
I can live comfortably in Ghana with that amount.
Exactly.
Interesting. IND2ND says, what I've realized, right, is since visiting Ghana for the last few years, is that Ghanaians don't see what they have. Black Americans and other nationalities have been moving to Ghana for a reason. Chasing Ethiopia says, first time on this channel, love your topic of conversation. You have a new subscriber. Chasing Ethiopia, thank you so much. The Thought Essence Partners, yes, thank you all of our brothers and sisters in Africa shining the light home. Edward Edu says, Chinatown in Kumasi, yes, he's talking about the place where I went to. Everything is in Chinese. You are in Ghana or Kumasi, and every signboard is in Chinese.
Well, maybe it also shows that we are coming of age, because if you go to most cities, most mature cities, they have like Chinatowns and little Italy's.
Okay.
Yeah. So
there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Okay, we'll talk about it another day. Christiana Pickens says Chinese science in Ghana. Yes, Christiana. Around the world says I've been pushing hard to keep my building in Nigeria going, but every supervisor I get steals from me, including the religious ones. Oh, so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Send us an email. We know one or two correct guys in Nigeria. Let's see, based on the location, right? If maybe it's Lagos, etc., Abuja. If it's other places, we can help. Mary Okan says, can we have a conversation of investment and business opportunities that people can venture in? Okay, so let's take note of it, Etonam, so that we can discuss that in a subsequent live. The comments, they keep on coming. They keep on coming. They are coming like water. Okay. Sweetbart says, the many problems in Ghana present business opportunities. So he is not seeing the issues that we are talking about. He's not seeing the lack of roads and the lack of, no, he sees it as opportunities.
To build roads for your, for yourself. Okay.
He's not seeing ECG as an issue. Maybe there's solar business that he can bring and all that.
Okay.
I think it's a good way to look at it as well.
I think also for us, what also does not work is that the environment is so politically charged. And so, for example, if you are a businessman who is doing business, success then becomes your bane, because once you become successful, like we can see Haftel, for example. Haftel has been doing good business for the longest time.
Okay.
Now they ventured into
new
ECG app and see the mess they are in currently, you know. So like I think for us, the atmosphere is so politically charged that sometimes if you're not careful, like I don't think elsewhere, because look at us. If you look at maybe US and those other countries, they have the Microsofts, the Apples, who have been there for like multiple generations.
Yeah.
Or at least they've been there for decades.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody. They just come. You will see a company, RLG, come when it's someone's during
a new political party
term of government.
Yeah.
And then a new political party comes and then it disappears. You know, and then we get a new person. You know, so we have these kind of seasonal companies who are not able to stand like the test of time, because the atmosphere is so politically charged that if you are doing business with, if you are doing well in one government, it means that you are for that government. And so if I come, I need to make sure that you go away and then my person comes.
It's a terrible thing, And I think we need a whole day to discuss this issue. So let's read the comments on the YouTube side. But we've taken note of your point, Mary, that you want a conversation on investment and business opportunities that people can venture into. We'll probably look for some entrepreneurs and stuff and bring them onto the podcast. Sweetbar says, the many problems in Ghana. Okay, we read that. Michael Jimano says, apart from the government pension salary of 1,240 euros, I also have a private pension insurance, which I'll be collecting monthly, which is 2,350 euros, which is about $2,510. So essentially, he's taking like $4,000 home. When I finally come to pension in the year 2042, he was saying the thing. Oh, the thought essence part says diasporas need to sponsor ambitious entrepreneurial Africans to produce winning solutions or situations for all. Integrity makes it work. Sponsor us. Chasing Ethiopia says we don't like Europe because they don't pay their fair share in NATO. Okay, joking. He's put it into bracket, joking. Sweetbar says, very true, US pays better. So people are agreeing with you. Someone says, I agree, there are so many opportunities in Ghana. Michael again says, I will encourage our Ghanaian diasporans to make private pension insurance or buy land in Ghana, at least one plot each year in Ghana before they retire.
You see, like,
that's what I've been doing for the last 7 years. You want to say something?
Yeah, you know, it goes back to the point we are making. The system is so messed up that if you buy that plot of land, in 2 years' time, by the time you come back, somebody has built on your property.
Okay.
And what are you going to do? You know, like we don't have any system that works, and so it becomes problematic. There are a lot of people, like you and I know people who have ventured into buying lands, and we know how it ended.
Yeah.
You know, like here, it takes luck for you to buy a property that doesn't have any issues. You know.
Even myself, right? I purchased land. That's how even this whole thing started. My first video was about land that I lost. That cost me a lot of money. So I get you. Still on the comments, someone says, yes, US pays better. You don't have to deal with language barriers compared to Europe. Interesting. Yeah. So the thought essence part says, socially responsible business investing by people like us It's how we turn the tide from negative to positive. Okay, Sweet Bar says, guys, I'm a female. Okay, we all know that. We'll not make that mistake again. All right. Christiana Pickens says, Ghana issues are business opportunities and investments. Abdul says, bro, who said you can make $10,000 in a month or two? Only few people can boast of that amount of money in their account balance at the end of the year. Hey, I want some more, bro. Someone says, now that's the word says, are you able to start a business in Ghana without being a citizen or resident? I think that's yes.
Yeah.
And we've spoken about examples, all that. Christiana Pickens says, land issues is another topic on its own. Agreed. And we've done 1 hour already.
Wow.
I'm telling you. So, Patrick, your closing thoughts.
Yeah. So I think Ghana, there's a lot of good things. I mean, we've been talking about the negative things, but I believe that there's a lot of good things that if we harness properly can make this place like a beautiful place that people would want to come to. You know, like I want to come and live in Ghana. The only reason why that some of us are where we are is because of economic reasons, you know. And I think that for the most part, like we are discussing, people want to come back and invest. But if the environment is so polarized, if things are not working, if there's no water, there's no electricity, there are laggards here and there, there's, you know, galamsey, we have not spoken about all those things, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that for us, there is a lot of good things that we can harness and we can make this a place where people want to come and live. The US and the Western world is not all that. You know, I think that they have the economics figured out. You know, and so you can make money if that's your sole purpose for going. But then there's a lot more beyond money once you get in.
Yeah.
You know, there are no, like people say, oh, when you go to the US, like you find a job the next day. It's not true. It's not necessarily true, right? You have to go through, like, there's a lot of like processes that because they work makes it difficult for people who just come into the system to start making it. And so maybe we can reconsider ourselves. And like you were saying, there are a lot of opportunities in Ghana. You know, there's a lot of opportunities in Ghana. So not being fixated on leaving Ghana, but also making sure that if you're in a space where there are opportunities, being able to kind of identify the opportunities and then make good use of them. Because we have friends that are making it big in Ghana.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere. You know, because whatever money they're earning here is no money they can make anywhere else.
True.
You know, so I believe that there's lots of good things. And those who are in the diaspora, they should come home.
They should come home.
Yeah.
So if you're in the diaspora, come home. We'll read the last few comments and then we'll go to Kobe from the live interactive chat. So somebody is responding to you about the litigation issues, and I think it's a whole topic for another day. He says buy the land and fence it immediately to keep it safe. That is what he has been doing for the past 7 years. He's fenced it to prevent litigation. Sandy AI says the visa process is tough in Ghana. Another issue. Some people that had never set foot in Ghana are now citizens. We own 2 properties in Ghana. No citizenship this far. We are rethinking our decision. Someone says, the biggest concern we're buying a plot of land. How would we keep it? We have no one to rely on in Ghana as an African American. I don't have money that I want to throw away. How do we keep it? Really interesting point. And if we are going to start this, we'll not.
Yeah, but I think talking about opportunities, I think this also presents a good opportunity. Maybe someone can set up a business where they keep people's lands for them, you know?
Yeah, but you know, land issues are some way. Right? Like this land topic, if we start, we'll not. Right.
Okay, yeah, true.
So Christiana says, great discussion. Someone says, very good point. Sweet Bar says, my mother's friend bought land and fenced it, left Ghana for a year. By the time she returned, someone had built a story building.
Somebody put a gate on the fence.
There's a story building on that property. So, I mean, the land thing, it's maybe we'll take it next week. I don't know. We'll take it next week. Sandy AI says, town and country is a toothless tiger. Interesting. So let's move to Kobe. Kobe, any final words for the people who are watching?
Yes, thank you, Frank. On the issue of businesses, right? We've all tried to do some sort of business while we are living in America, right? I tried to open 2 businesses in Ghana, and the fact that at that time I was relying on other people, did not work out too well for me, and I realized the amount of money that I spent. You see, so sometimes it's great when we think about all these business ideas we want to come in and do. I'm in IT. I've been in IT for probably over 25 years of doing IT. And I've always wanted to do something along those lines in Ghana, right? But the fact of the matter is when you are living here and you have a certain life here, it's very difficult to rely on people back home, right? And say, hey, cool, let's do this business. And so, from my perspective, the only thing that I could do or what my intentions are to be there so that I can monitor whatever goes on with my business. I rather come to Ghana and struggle with like anybody else, learn my lessons and be able to prosper in Ghana than just handing my business for somebody to run. So I think that is the problem, right? The we can't trust much people in Ghana. And then you have to understand the success rate in business is actually the failure rate is actually higher than the success rate. But that's what they don't tell you. You see what I'm saying? So it's um all I can say is that we still haven't given up hope. We still plan to come and do some businesses in Ghana. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to open up my juice factory also there. So at this time, I'm careful, right? So yes, yes. So I all I want to say is we're coming and we will come because that's the only place we know, right? I mean, we're all sick of Donald Trump, so we want to leave this place as much as possible. So
Thank you so much, Kobe. It's been a pleasure having you here. And again, thank you so much, everybody. The next time we are going to meet is going to be in April. So let me take this opportunity to wish all of you, thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of you who would watch the live and the replay, a happy new month. I pray your month of April is going to be super fruitful. I pray it's going to be highly productive. I pray that everything that you touch to do will be blessed. I pray that your building projects in Ghana will go well. Nobody will build on your land. And again, if you want to purchase solar cameras to monitor your building project, our email address is on the screen. Like this video. Can we get 200 likes at least? Patrick, close us. Tell them thanks, Bibre.
Thanks, Bibre.
Thanks, Bibre, Charlie. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kobe. Thanks to everyone who contributed. Have a very blessed. Oh, and happy holiday, right?
Yeah.
Islamic holiday to our Islamic brothers and sisters. We love you. Ghana is a very peaceful nation. And that's one thing that I love about Ghana, that Muslims and Christians can coexist, right, without any issues. And
Yeah.
let's keep up the love. We wish you all the best. Thanks.